Hi folks, John with the Wingman115 Channel. Thanks for checking in today. Today's video is a stove review, and I was contacted by the folks at Dpower Stove. Now, I've watched a few videos on the internet, and I knew the price point was somewhere in the $20-ish range for this stove, so I was just a little bit skeptical, so I had some reservations. But I talked to the folks at Dpower Stove, and they said, John, give our stove a chance. It's going to hold up with some of the higher end stoves that are out there, and that they claim that it's fully functional and all that stuff. I said, well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to do a video review, but it's going to be a no BS review. We're going to put this stove through the paces with some heavy use, because I want to see if it's going to hold up and if the value and the function is there, if I'm going to rate it and I'm going to recommend it to you folks. They said, John, tear at it, have fun. Well, I've been using the stove for a little while, and I'm going to cut away right now. I'm going to give you some quick tabletop specs rundown, and then I'm going to show some extreme practical application for this stove, and then I'll come back and I'm going to give you my thoughts and a rating on this stove and if it's for you. You're going to want to watch this, folks. Come along, join me. It's going to be a fun day. Let's go. Now for the extreme test on this stove. And no, we are not going to use this 20-ounce Stanley pot. What I'm going to do is use a 16-quart tamale steamer, but in fairness for this review, I'm going to use these bricks as the pot's support, because there's only about a 10-pound, I would say, max limit on this to safely do it. So, folks, kids watching at home, please do not do this, because you could seriously get scalded or burned. Let's fire up the stove. Let's put the tamale pot on. Let's put the lid on. What I'll do is crank this up all the way. And let's hit the timer. And let's see how long it takes to boil 16 quarts of water with this. Let's give a live action update. We're almost at 13 minutes. Let me take the lid off. Now, this was ice cold tap water, and you're starting to get bubbles in there. I stuck my hand in there. It's starting to get warm. So it's not going to be like your house stove, but you got to remember, this is a backpacking stove, and I'm doing an extreme 16-quart pot of water. So I'll check in when we have a rolling boil. Okay, folks, we're going to call it around 28. And then I will pop the lid, and we will see where we're at. Not bad for a little backpacker stove on 16 quarts of water. Now for some thoughts on the depowered stove. I wanted to do an extreme test, and what I mean by extreme, anybody's out there doing frying bacon and all that stuff with these stoves. I wanted to do something that was just way overboard to show you folks just how much heat this bad boy throws out. Now, I have to throw a disclaimer again. that was an extreme test. 16 quarts of water is maxing out the load capacity of the stove. I know that. That's why I put the bricks in there for safety reasons. I don't recommend you doing that at home, please. I don't want anybody getting scalded, burned, whatever. But I wanted to illustrate just how well this stove performs. And boiling 16 quarts of water, I was pretty impressed. I had used this a couple times before, and in the B-roll that I showed doing the specs rundown, I was at a wilderness survival retreat, and I was using it there. So I used this for almost 30 minutes here, plus I cooked during that wilderness survival school probably about 15 or 20 minutes. So I got, I'm going to round it up, 50 minutes of good high-end burn time. I'm talking like afterburner hot burn time with this. So if you put it on simmer mode, once you got your water hot, I mean, you could really parse this out where it would probably last you a couple hours. So if you're backpacking on a 3, 4, 5 day trip, I would feel confident that you would get the fuel economy with this. If you use it right, get your water hot, boil, shut it off, or take it down to a simmer, get your food hot, shut it down to a simmer. I was really impressed with how you can regulate the heat almost right down to just a little sputter to just afterburner flamethrower crazy. And it takes the regular butane or the isobutane, and that's with propane mixed in. So it's great depending on where you're going, if it's 3 season, 4 season. I know these jet boil ones are 4 season, and they mix a little bit of propane with the isobutane. So your mileage is going to vary on that, but you can find stuff at Walmart. Coleman makes it. I mean, everybody makes them, and you can get them a lot cheaper than what I paid for this at an outdoor retail store. But let's get back to this. It folds down really nice. I like that. I like that it doesn't sit on top of the canister. And the reason I like that is center of gravity, so it doesn't tip over and you wind up spilling your food or burning yourself. I like the fact that it takes a 7/16 standard size container. That's definitely a plus. The only thing I would like to see is maybe just a hard plastic case for this, because Murphy's Law, I mention it all the time, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen to this guy here. You're out and you put it in your pack and something happens and then a leg gets bent or maybe the igniter breaks off or whatever. I would just like to see it in a tough, not ABS plastic, but just a tough plastic case. I don't think it would cost that much more. And for the price range, around the $20 price range, you can't beat this. The size, the function, the adjustable heat output, self-starting. You could put a pretty big pot on here too. And at the beginning, my Stanley was almost too small for that, but I have a Stanley cook pot that would fit on there really well. So if I had to rate this between 1 and 5, 1 meaning, no, it's a dumper, you know, we're going to send it to the boneyard. 5, it's a grand slam. Guys, for the price, you can't beat that. If you use it for what it's intended for and don't put too heavy of a pot on there, this is going to last a while. Now, I've been watching folks on the internet, and I was skeptical at first. I was like, you're going to send me a $20 stove, and, you know, I'm going to have to do a review on this and say all this stuff, you know, that it sucks and all this. I can't say that. Dpower, this is a win, guys. I don't know how much better you could improve upon this. It worked really well. So I'm going to give it 5 stars on the channel. I have it also listed on my Amazon store. So if folks look down in the link below, I make it real easy for you. Just a quick link goes to my store. It doesn't charge you anymore if you buy it through my Amazon store. I just get a little percentage back for advertising from Amazon. It helps pay for gas to put in my Jeep. The YouTube mobile studio takes me up to the mountains. I can keep making quality videos for you guys. Folks, it was fun doing a video on this Dpower stove. I thank you so much for watching. And folks, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for checking in. Take care. Now get outside and go play. It's a nice day out.